Good afternoon. Well, I'm glad that I can be back here with you today. I'm having some procedure ready to be done on my back, and so that's where I was at the doctor again yesterday. It's kind of a little bit of thing that they do in certain phases, so I really hated that I couldn't be with you, but the only time I could get in to see the people was yesterday, right about the time we'd be having our program. And so I'm glad to be back here today. The day before, I didn't realize that as I was singing and playing, there was this little noise going on. When I played it back, and I realized that was the fan blowing on my papers here, so a little bit aggravating, but I hope that it was all right for you. I felt very led today to do a song that I wrote. I've done this many times on the program before, but I'm trying to get some of the things done with some of the music that I have written. And next month we're going to be meeting a man that all of you know very well and doing a song for him. I hope that I can pitch that to them and it'll be something nice. But the only way that people will ever hear these things is if I do it. This one comes from a story, and as I started out with the program saying this is my story. So this is my story this afternoon. I was in a church and some years ago, and I saw an altar bench. I don't know if all of you know what an altar bench is. Pastored a church one time that poor lady in there didn't know what an altar bench was, but that's where you'd go forward and kneel down and you would ask the Lord to come into your heart. And at the end of each of these altar benches, there was a couple of them, they had a box of Kleenex. And I thought to myself, my goodness, that's really something. They're expecting someone to come and to be shedding tears and asking God into their heart. But I have to say today, and I was thinking, I wonder, is there any Kleenex on any altar benches in the churches anymore? So people could wipe away those tears? Well, here's a song that I wrote, Altar Stained with Tears. I was standing in an old church just the other day, and I was thinking about the past. I saw an altar that had been stained with tears, tears that had brought happiness. And I thought to myself, oh God, what would it take to bring back those tears once again? There we find comfort, a place for our fears, at an altar stained with tears, at an altar stained with tears. And in the shadows I saw a preacher. His back was bent, he had preached the golden rule. Never had much money, but boy, he knew how to pray. Whenever they called him, he went. For you see, my friend, he had spent many hours at an altar stained with tears. For they'd find the strength to help him through all of his problems and his cares. It was at an altar stained with tears, and an altar stained with tears. Now that altar is waiting for you right now. Give up all of your pride and come. There's no other way, that old preacher would say. Just remember what Jesus has done. Come down to that altar and let your tears flow. He's been waiting so long for you. comfort, place for all fears, and He'll forgive all your hopes, doubts, and fears. He'll forgive all those things that you've ever done and take away all the fears. Well, that's a little song that I wrote, and I hope you enjoy it. We have a request this afternoon, a couple of them in fact, and if you have any requests that we could pray for, just send it to us and we'd be glad to do that. This one's for grandparents that are praying for their grandchildren that is not living for the Lord. I probably hear a bunch of amens out there too. They've just walked away from the faith and they're not living for the Lord at all. And I have another request. You don't, some of you might know Greg Mosley and the family, but here's a man that just has had all kinds of trouble. My niece Sherry married Greg. They have children and a family, and they're in the LaPorte Church, LaPorte, Indiana. But Greg fell, and he has, I believe, like 8 screws in his ankle. He had already all kinds of trouble. And we were talking to Sherry yesterday, and we said, well, you know what? We're going to have special prayer. So I just want you to write down that name, Greg Mosley. And when you do your prayers today or this evening, lift him up in prayer. And with these grandchildren, for the heartbreak of the grandmother and father, that they'll come back to the Lord. So, that altar is waiting for you right now. Give up all of your pride and come. There's no other way, that old preacher would say. Just remember what Jesus has done. Come down to that altar and let the tears flow. He's been waiting so long for you. There you'll find forgiveness for all of your sins, something nobody else can do. Nobody else can do. Good afternoon, Bev. Good to have you watching in this afternoon. And I'll be back here tomorrow, the same time. God bless you.